We'll get started when a few more people join in. We're still waiting for a few more people. You guys can open up your homework for now. Okay, so I guess we'll get started without the other people. We are going to, I'm gonna open up my screen sharing first. So I've been checking the homework. Looks pretty good. It looks pretty good. Question exercise 22. Everyone did that. So exercises. So in the textbook, everyone did well. Exercise 20 and 22. People both did well also. Exercise 25 looks good as well. Exercise 26, I will. There are a few mishaps, but it looks like you guys got the hang of it, so we won't do that. Exercise 27 also looks good. Okay. So it looks like if there's any mistakes, they're just very minor calculation things. So the last class I just taught, I had to go over the homework for like 25 minutes. You guys seem to be all good. So we will move straight into the workbook. Textbook, I mean, yeah, we're gonna move into the textbook. Let's see, last time we ended off in practice 2B. Let's see where that is. Oh, also screen share, yeah. Let's see. This is loading pretty slowly, so it might take me a minute to scroll up to where we were last time. All right, so last time we started averages, I believe. Oh yeah, we ended averages, so now we're on rates. All right, so I'm gonna start off by giving a very easy question just to introduce the topic. I'll just put it here. You guys can send me the answers when you finish it. It should be pretty easy and simple. Yeah, 12. It's pretty simple. Divide 60 by 5. Now we're gonna do a bit more difficult ones. So you kind of just find the base rate, and then you can scale it up to whatever problem you need to solve. Try to send them all in one batch. All right, sorry guys if I just disconnected. I think I had like some Wi-Fi issues. Yeah, I'm having Wi-Fi issues over here. All right, can you guys see the screen? All right, I'll start my screen share again. Can you guys see now? I'll also check your answers. 54, 22, 80. Okay, okay. All good. Send a few more questions. I just want to check because I think my Wi-Fi might have like cut a tiny bit for a second. I just want you to send like a hi in the chat just so I can make sure my Wi-Fi. All right. Okay. Yeah. You guys can keep working. I think I figured it out. I don't know why you can't send it in direct messages. Maybe try in the bottom if there's not an option for me. I'm not sure why. Sorry, it's fine. Like, just yeah. Looks like everyone got these pretty easily. I mean, like these questions aren't too bad. I'll go over the. Actually, no, I still don't need to go over these. You guys are doing really well with these because they kind of work in order. All right, so now I'll give a slightly more difficult one, I believe. So this one has a chart now. I want you guys to be very careful with these questions because they're a bit more difficult. All right, so I'll go over these now. These are a bit more difficult. So how are we going to solve this? Well, let's think about this one carefully, all right? Um, if you observe this question very carefully, you will be able to figure out what the rate is, okay? And the rate, you can figure out by, give me 1 second, my dog's barking. I'll post the next question, actually. You guys can start working on this one, and I'm gonna get my dog to stop being obnoxious, and then I'll go over 7 when I come back. Sorry. Okay, I don't know. I think there was like another dog or something. Okay, so we're gonna skip this. You guys can work on the ski chalet problem in 1 second. I'm gonna go over this one again. So, how do we figure out the rates like this? So wait, step not over. Let's see, what give me a second. Let me see what you guys put. Wait, 52 cents for 7A. All right, so I'm pretty, I don't know how, wait, we got 72. So confusing. 1 sec. This is angles. We should be on rates. Yeah, so these questions are actually really easy. I don't know why. These are actually pretty bad questions in my opinion. Yeah, honestly, we're just gonna skip these. The answer is so dumb. It's just like 55 is in between 50 and 80, so it's 55, not over, so it becomes like here. Wait, no. Sorry. 55 is like 50 cents because it's like in between here, so it goes up because it's not over. Those are actually really dumb questions. We're just gonna skip them. They're kind of pointless. Instead, we are going to go on to graphs. Yeah, so these questions, some people are having questions on how to do them. You don't really need to know how to do them. They're not actually even rate questions. They're just like, if how much would you pay for a 55 gram letter? Well, you can only pay for one of these options. And it's not over 55 is over 50, so you can't pay for it. So you would pay for the 100 gram package, which would be 50 cents. And then for the 400 one, you would pay for this. So it'd be like 50 cents and $1.50, which is like a really dumb question because it's not even a rate. I don't know why they had them. Yeah, so we're just gonna move on to graphs. Actually, 1 second, I'm gonna see what we should put for homework. Practice 4A. I'll write that down. Give me one sec. Uh, practice 4. I will start. I'm gonna place a question down. You guys can work on this. Damn, this is such a big question. It takes a whole page. I don't know if I can screenshot it all. Oh, all right, got it. And it's a pretty big question because like we got graphs now, which take up like an entire page. Yeah, so you can start working on this. Will we be doing triangles? I think we will be getting to triangles today. Yeah, because graphs are so short. There's like 4 pages. We're going to start triangles today. Today, I believe we are going to go to, I think we might get through most of triangles. Because some sections we're just going to skip because they use protractors and stuff, which we're not going to do. Yeah, I think we're just going to finish triangles, but we're going to not do quadrilaterals yet. We'll do that next week. Yeah, so we'll finish up graphs and then do practice. Yeah, so keep working on this graph question for now. We are doing triangles today. Yeah, a bit in like maybe 10 minutes we'll start triangles. Oops, I posted the wrong thing. Check over questions C. Yeah, check over question C. Be sure to read this very carefully. These questions should be easy, so just check over question C real quickly. Okay, yeah. So these questions, I'm not going to check over them once again. These ones are. Oh, yeah, we will be doing four-sided figures next week. Along with four-sided figures, we might spend a while on four-sided figures and talking about different properties of them. Afterwards, I think we might do tessellations in the same day because tessellations are incredibly easy. They're actually very interesting as well. I might prepare some special tessellations which have like fish and stuff. It's pretty interesting. But yeah, for now we're just doing triangles. Or we're gonna do graphs and then triangles, but graphs are super quick. I'm just gonna put all the graph questions here just so you can get them done with. That should be a pretty easy question, and that will be it for graphs because graphs are so easy. So keep working on these. I will send. And that's it for graphs. I think we will move on to triangles now. Yeah, graphs are very easy. They just have to make graphs you'll use in a lot of different classes. I think mainly, and you'll take earth science at some point. I'm pretty sure, maybe in 7th or 8th grade, and you use a ton of graphs in that class. So just reading graphs is just like a life skill. It's like actually really useful. It's very easy, obviously, because it's very intuitive. But yeah, so this is not a problem. Just look at this, take it in. Just take it in. Another way, there's a lot of ways to prove that the angles in a triangle add up to 180. Another proof is if I draw a triangle like this. If I draw a line that's parallel to this triangle, this angle is equal to this angle. So the blue angles equal each other, and the green angles equal each other. This is because of like alternate interior angles, which you don't need to know that. And then the red angle stays the same. And so you can clearly see that these add up to 180, which means that the angles in a triangle add up to 180. So yeah. Just know that the angles in a triangle add up to 180. Next class, when we do quadrilaterals, we might talk about the angles in a quadrilateral. but all you need to know for now is that the angles in a triangle add up to 180, and this is the first question. I want the answers in the form of A, B, and C. This should be relatively easy. Just remember what I just told you. Waiting for a few more answers, and then we'll move on. Yeah, Alan, you're correct. Or Alex, I have no idea who that is, but yes, you're fine. Yeah, just I'll give out the answers when everyone's done. So just sit tight. Waiting for one more answer, and then So we will move on now. So first of all, just for a bit of reference, a right angle is written like this. A right angle means 90 degrees, and a right angle is formed by two perpendicular lines. So if these like a plus sign, or like what else? Like a cross. So these angles are all right angles, meaning right angle equals 90 degrees. And it's denoted, instead of by a curve, it's denoted by a sharp angle. So solve the missing angle in each triangle and tell me if it's right angled. And a right angled triangle is any triangle that has a right angle, and they're very useful in things like trigonometry and stuff like that. So it's very important to know how to recognize a right triangle. All right, good job, guys. It's important that I mean, it's not that important, but can anyone tell me like a trick? Instead of actually solving the last angle and seeing if it's 90 in a triangle, what's a trick to figuring out if it's 90 degrees? All right, so now we're going to move on to a few different types of triangles. So there are many different ways to classify triangles, all right? There are two main ways. Number one is by angles. Number two is by sides. So keep in mind a triangle has to be one of each type, okay? Now, what are these types? First of all, by angles, okay? If all the angles are under 90 degrees, that means it's acute. So just to clarify, this is a right angle, this is an obtuse angle, this is an acute angle. Now, what each of these means is compared to 90. A right is 90, an obtuse is more than 90. I'll scroll down a bit so you can actually see. Yeah, so a acute is 90, an obtuse is greater than 90, and then acute is less than 90. So an acute triangle is a triangle where every angle is acute. A right triangle is a triangle in which there is one right angle. An obtuse triangle is a triangle in where there is one obtuse angle. Now, keep in mind, a triangle can never have two right angles because that would be impossible, because that would mean that these angles add up to 180, which means the last angle would have to add up to 0 because it couldn't exist. This triangle doesn't make sense. Same for obtuse. If they're both more than 90, then that's impossible because we know for a fact that a triangle adds up to 180. So the second way of classifying triangles is by sides. We can have an isosceles triangle. That means two sides are equal. We can have an equilateral triangle. That means every side is equal. Or we can have a scalene triangle, which is like crazy and no sides are equal. Every triangle fits into both categories. So a triangle can be an isosceles acute triangle, For example, this triangle is isosceles acute. A triangle can be an obtuse scalene triangle, for example, like this. There are technically some exceptions, like you can't have an obtuse equilateral triangle, and you can't have a right equilateral triangle. And you also can't have a that's it, yeah. But you don't really need to know those. You just need to know about the different types of triangles. The main triangle that we're going to be focusing on for now, or types, we're going to be focusing on sides of triangles, because obtuse, because why these triangles are important, they aren't as important in what we're doing right now. At the moment, sides are more important for what we're doing. So I'm going to post the first set of questions. First of all, this question, I want to quickly go over it. How do you tell if a triangle is an isosceles triangle, but if you don't know any of the sides, right? So if these two were equal, then we would know that it's isosceles, but you're only given angles here. How do you figure out the sides? Well, the trick is that a side is related to the angle opposite it. So if I have a triangle, let's say triangle B, if these two are equal, that means these two are equal. So for this question A, this last angle here is equal to 115. Give me a second, let me check the math. Yeah, 115. And since none of these angles are equal with each other, this is not isosceles. B has two equal ones, so it's correct. And this last angle is 75. If these two are equal, that means these two are equal, so it is isosceles. So yeah, so it's important to know that an isosceles triangle is 2, equilateral is 3, and you can figure out stuff based on the angles. So now I'm going to mention the second point of interest. An equilateral triangle has angles of all 60. Every single angle is going to be 60. The reasoning is quite simple. As I said before, sides are related to their angles. So if all of these are equal, that means all the angles are equal. Since the angles add up to 180 and they all equal each other, that means each of them must be 60. So in a triangle with two 60s, you know for a fact it's equilateral because the last one's also 60 because they add up to 180, and we know this is equilateral. So I'm going to send some problems now. I want you to tell me which ones are equilateral. If you can, try to send them just to me. Tell me which ones are equilateral. Tell me which triangles are equilateral. Remember, angles are relative to the sides. They correspond. Yeah, so we can actually figure all of these out. If these two are both 60, then that means this one is 60. If these two are equal, that means these two are equal. And if this is 60, this is 60. And if two angles are 60, the last one is 60. These two are both correct. R has 40. 40 is not allowed. It's not allowed. It has to all be 60. Start giving you, these are related to isosceles or equilateral. So solve for angle X. And then I will also send a few more questions. And then we're not going to do the next section. All right, so that's it. Once you finish these two questions, send them in chat to me, and then you can move on to your homework. Don't rush. I want you to take your time, figure out what sides are equal to each other, and then solve it. Don't rush. For the first question, I want you to take notice of things. There's signs here, which means that PR and QR are equal. If PR and QR are equal, that tells us a lot about the triangle. I'm afraid no, you are not. Actually, give me a sec. I can't tell. No, you're not correct. No one has gotten either of the questions correct yet. I'll just put that out there. All right, so I'll go over these two questions, and then class will be over. So, first off, for the first question, PR equals QR because it says so. That means Q equals P. Angle Q equals angle P. We can figure that out. If angle Q equals angle P, what does angle P equal? Well, if angle Q is 65, that means angle P is also 65, right? Now, the angles in a triangle add up to 180, right? We know that. So if the angles in this triangle add up to 180, and two of them are 65 and 65, that means that this angle is 50. Now, if this angle is 50, what do we know? Well, if this angle is 50, we actually know a lot of things. Because it's a straight line, and a straight line adds up to 180, we can figure out that the angle we're solving for, x equals 130. There's actually another way to solve this based on it's a bit more complicated, and I'll go over it some other time. But yeah, we can solve the first question, be 130. Now, how do we solve the second question? Well, you can see from those little lines that are drawn, here and here, AC equals AB. Now, if AC equals AB, what does that tell us? Well, that tells us that angle B is equal to angle C. And if angle B equals angle C, and C equals 75, we know, so actually, this might be my bad. I don't know if I taught you guys vertical angles, but just understand that angle ACB equals 75 because of vertical angles. You can figure it out visually as well, because they're like opposite ends basically. And so if angle C, if this angle is 75 and we know these two angles are same, then that means Y also equals 75. So that's the answer to our problem, 130 and 75. Yeah, okay, guys. That is it for class. You guys can start working on your homework. Bye. See you guys.